The phylum we got is Onychophora. Their characteristics are their bilateral symmetry and variform, which means resembling or having the form of a worm. Their body has 2 or more cell layers, tissues, and organs. They have a nervous system that includes a brain and a pair of ventral nerve cords. They also have a simple respiratory system in the form of a trachea and spiracles, which is an external respiratory opening. They also possess an open circulatory system with a heart. The major groups of the taxon are the Peripatidae and the Peripatopsidae. The Peripatidae are the oldest representatives of the family and are longer on average than the Peripatopsidae, and also have more leg pairs ranging from 22 to 43 leg pairs. The Peripatopsidae exhibit relatively the same characteristics as the Peripatidae, but instead of having 22 leg pairs, they only have 13 to 25. Their habitats, the Onychophora or velvet worms, like to live in environments that are dark with very high air humidity, like tropic rainforests and temperate zones. The Onychophora reproduce both externally and internally because they are oviparous, ovoviviparous, and also viviparous species.
Onychophoras are carnivorous, and their typical meals consist of termites, snails, worms, beetles, and other insects. They will sometimes use trapping methods to corner their prey and shoot out a sticky slime from their oral papillae that traps the animals in order to consume them. Their main form of transportation is walking. They have several pairs of unjointed legs that allow them to walk and crawl. There is very little known about Onychophora's developmental patterns. However, since they are closely related to arthropods, it is safe to assume they go through protostomic development. In contrast, few studies have shown a small amount of Onychophoras differing from arthropods by going through deuterostomic development. Onychophoras begin their life cycle in an egg form. The egg can range from 0.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters in diameter. Once they hatch, their bodies are completely developed. They are not known to migrate, and they can live up to several years. Normal female reproduction age is around 1.5 years. The papillae found on the Onychophora's skin is usually made up of several overlapping scales. This gives them their velvety-looking skin and gives them their commonly known name, velvet worms. It also allows for their skin to be waterproof.
Our 16S phylogenetic tree consists of 8 taxa, especially the Onychophora. The outgroup of the tree are the Porifera, asymmetrical organisms that are also called sponges. Onychophora are most closely related to mollusca, as shown on the 16S tree. Our created data matrix tree also consists of 8 phyla. The outgroup of the tree is Porifera once again. However, unlike the 16S tree, the Onychophora is shown to have emerged from a different common ancestor. The Onychophora phylum is also in its own clade, rather than being included with the mollusks in the 16S tree. The closest relative to the Onychophora, according to our tree, would be the Chordata phylum and a subsection including the sole clade Annelida and a clade with Arthropoda and Mollusca. Differences in both trees can be attributed to the 16S tree having a potentially more accurate presentation of the phylogenetic tree rather than our own. This is because the 16S tree contains RNA sequences and compares them on a molecular scale rather than our created phylogenetic tree based on observational and discrete characteristics. Therefore, we can infer that groups like Annelida, Chordata, and Arthropoda played a role in the present differences between both trees. As shown in both our 16S and data matrix tree, the Porifera is the outgroup of all the combined phyla. However, Onychophora in this published phylogenetic tree is the most closely related to Arthropoda instead of Mollusca in the 16S tree.
Onychophorans, including placental species and as the phylum, have survived all mass extinctions since the Cambrian approximately 488 million years ago. Origin among humans believed to be when, as gilding states, probably saw onychophorans before gilding. Costa Rican farmers referred to them as slugs with legs. but he was the first to describe them in a scientific paper. Onychophorans were originally considered to be the transitional group between the Annelida and the Arthropoda. Sedgwick stated this, and the first components of the velvet worm body plan can be recognized in an exceptionally well-preserved Cambrian fossils, identifying an eclectic group of these 500-million-year-old organisms as early stem groups, Onychophorans, and Smith stated this. We believe you have a relatively correct phylogenetic tree due to all the information from the data matrix. However, molecular data would show the most accurate tree, as the published tree has more information. As stated above, the published phylogenetic tree has far more data and can show the relation of taxa within the group.